How's it going, guys? Juniper back again with another video on Hear Me Raw, and today I want to talk to you guys about my journey and um, and I want to just make this video because I want to talk more about my journey as a non-binary, as a trans femme, as a femboy. Like there's many different labels that I can fall under, pansexual, bisexual. This journey within has been a beautiful one, and one thing that I want to, put emphasis on and make sure that is made aware is that because there's this thing that people think, unfortunately, the media has not done a really good job at explaining the multitudes and the infinite ways of being human. There's, I believe, 8 billion of us on this planet now. And for a long time, we have believed that we can only be one or two ways. We can only be a man or a woman. And that excludes intersex people. Like in terms of like intersex people, a lot of times if somebody is born with both parts, a penis and a vagina, a surgery is done. Either the doctor or the parent chooses which one to take off, and then that person has to live at the gender that was chosen for them. Something that you rarely ever seen. You never see, like, there's a whole political group out there targeting the LGBTQ community, saying there are only two genders, saying these lies that have been perpetrated by colonizers. They never mention that. They never mention intersex people because that would throw the whole argument out of the window. And these people, these babies, have their identity taken away from them right at the very beginning of their lives. They never get to choose for themselves who they truly are. They never get told of their true history. We are dealing with a lot of neo-Nazis, like a whole Nazi movement happening now is getting a lot of light. And one thing that Hitler did was he destroyed a lot of the history and research that was done on the LGBTQ community and killed a lot of those people as well. And the ones that weren't killed were put in camps. So there's a very dark history here. We have that same political group making sure that critical race theory does not make its way into schools, which critical race theory could awaken a lot of things in a lot of people. Yes, it's showing a dark history, but it's a history that needs to be told because within that history is the truth. How can we get better? How can we move forward if we don't know the whole story? If we don't know our whole story? I discovered this truth about myself, and when I did, oh my goodness, it's like the pieces to the puzzle had finally been connected. It's like I was missing something. Like, okay, there's something missing here. There's something missing, and I had no idea what it was. And what the beautiful thing is, the universe, the world outside of me, which is honestly the world within reflected, was giving me hints little by little, nudging me, little, like giving me some information here, some information there, some tidbits here, tidbits there. As I'm going through my journey, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm finding this out about myself. Because when you live in fear, when you live in survival mode, it's very hard to express yourself. It's very hard to really do what you want to do. And it's also, it creates like an out-of-body experience because you're not really in your body. Your attention, your consciousness is being pulled in so many different places. Especially when you're worried about safety. That's something about the world right now to where they do like to keep us in fear. It keeps us in our lower chakra, which we cannot rise above that to the point where we realize like this is a very interactive world. It's a very beautiful world. It's a very safe world as well. It can be, but if you got everybody going crazy in their minds, at that root level and not rising any higher to the point where they find inner peace, once they can see the inner beauty, when they can see how vast they truly are, then you literally get war over and over and over again. And if you're into astrology, coming, believe we're at age of Aries going into Pisces, like it was about war, So we need to come out of that. Like we are making our way out of that. We're in the information age now. This would be a great time to come out of war, to be able to educate the masses on how disastrous war is. Why do we have so many people that love war? So many people that love violence, so many people that love anger, so many people that love to put others below them, Again, bringing it back to the Nazis, who was Hitler? Who did Hitler hate the most? He was very ableist, very white supremacist thinking. He hated black people, he hated women, he hated disabled people, he hated the gays, hated socialists. So you're talking about this person that hated a lot of groups, and those same people are still getting a lot of hate till this day. And if we knew our history, if everyone truly knew their history and sought to change and sought to evolve from that, we could change that. Because we are purposely making the world an unsafe place. It's being done on purpose, and then the collective is agreeing with it. And it's very hard for the collective to disagree with it, because to disagree with what the collective has agreed with makes you an outcast. And as beings that need community, we do not want to be outcast. We want to belong. We want to feel like we belong. And I want to encourage more people to become outcasts, because in becoming an outcast, you can actually find your true tribe. You can actually find your true calling, your true self, and you'll realize like there are other people out there that will freaking love you and embrace you. But you have to embrace. You have to love and embrace yourself. Like I said, I want to encourage people, because we need to do this. We need to reconnect with the magic of the world, because it's so important that we do. Because if we did know about the magic of the world, we wouldn't be treating the world the way that we do now. We would not be treating Mama Gaia the way that we do now. We would not be trying to start wars and more bloodshed, to have blood gushing all over Mama Gaia, to have all of our blood gushing, like all the unnecessary death that happens because of capitalism, because we're trying to make money, destroying all these trees, destroying all this land, polluting all the air, all these things that we're doing to a land. Don't realize like the bodies that our soul inhabits now comes from this earth. Your body is made up of all the elements of this planet. We are connected, deeply connected to this planet. I probably would not be alive right now if I had not discovered the connection that my body, that my soul has to this planet. Because when I was feeling so alone, my feeling of that I actually do belong here came from forces that I cannot even see, but that I can feel, that interact with me. And I believe that we all have that capability. I believe it. And the way I like to introduce people to that energy, to that frequency, is through numerology, to paying attention to the numbers that you see, because we're we're in a technological age, and numbers surround us. Numbers in license plates, numbers on our phones, numbers in our businesses, wherever we're doing our house numbers. We can use those numbers to communicate with the angels around us. But yeah, back talking about the matter at hand. The media has literally distracted us from the truth, and has given so much fear to so many things, to the point where common people, I almost said common God-fearing people, which there is a problem in that. I don't believe that we should be fearing God, because what does fear produce? Does fear produce anything good? Is fear going to help you get to know your neighbors more? Is fear going to help to get you to know yourself more? So many lies. And now that we're in the information age, we have the ability to come out of that. But the propaganda is real. The propaganda is real. It's deeply embedded into us. And the truth that we need to come out of it is being hidden, it's not being shown, and it's not what's popular. Decolonization is not popular, it's not what sells, it's not what gets people hooked. Like right now, people are going crazy over soccer. I'm looking at people like, man, they really love soccer. They really love the World Cup. They're going wild. I'm like, why can't they go this wild for decolonization? When I realized that the root of so many problems that we go through in this life is through decolonization, I was excited. I'm like, holy crap, like, yo, this is it. If we can show people this right here and start to decolonize people, decolonize our government, decolonize our institutions, decolonize our schools, decolonize our appearance. Like not too long ago, people that had hair like this were being barred, were being stopped from graduating from their school because they had locks. Like when I got jobs recently, like they had told me, oh, you're gonna do something about your hair, you're gonna do something about your beard. Like, this is me natural. Are you saying I can't be natural? My natural self is not good enough for you? The fact that there was all this hatred towards tattoos and body piercings and things like that. Guess who had long hair, long beards, tattoos, body piercings? Guess who had those things? The natives. There was a mass genocide that happened in America to where they tried to erase the natives. They tried to take their children and send them to other families. They literally tried to eradicate them. And in that eradication of the natives, guess what happened? When they came here, the natives did not just have two genders. In the natives, they have something called two-spirit. And they were revered. They were magical. They were seen to have a connection with spirit more so than others. But when the colonizers came, they sought to destroy them. They said, no, you can only be, a relationship has to be with a man and a woman. It cannot be anything else. Anything else is correlated with bestiality. They were saying there's only two genders, can be anything else. So then they started mutilating children, babies. They said that it can only be monogamy. There's nothing other than that. Anything else than that is depraved, is bad. And pretty much everything good started being associated with whiteness, and everything bad was associated with brownness. So like that's a big part of our history that you will not hear much about, but it's not something that's really hidden. It's just not talked about. It's there. You can look it up, but will they teach it to us in school? No, they won't teach it to you in school. So at this point, coming out as non-binary, which falls under the trans umbrella, when I discovered this by myself, ecstatic. It brought everything together for me, because I was on that journey of self, like, who am I, and like, what do I like, what do I want to do, what are my dreams? Like, I remember being asked, like, what did I want to go to school for, what did I want to go to college for? I had no idea, because I was never focused on myself. I was just focused on survival. And I took a break from that survival thinking, went towards discovering who I was, and found out so many things. Found out that I love to sing, found out that I love to dance, found out I love to really express myself, found out that I love fashion, I love clothes. Just that I was kind of limited, being assigned male at birth. I was limited to the clothing that I thought that I could wear. But then when I started experimenting with other pieces of clothing, a whole world opened up for me. Like, it gave me so many more happy things that I could do, and that I'm not limiting myself to how I move, to how I dance, to how I think or talk, and I can just embrace all of me. And I love so many things. So I'm no longer compartmentalizing myself, which has led to so much joy. And also I realized, like, I discovered this part of myself that I shut down deep down, that I pushed it because literally it would mean that I would die. I thought that I would die by expressing myself, and maybe I could have, because this world is very violent towards gender non-conforming people. And having a lot of memories and that's the other thing too. When you're young, when you're growing up in this world, if you're in survival mode all the time, there's a good chance you may forget things, because you're in survival mode. So your energy, your consciousness is just focused on other things. So, but one thing I remember is seeing my little brother get in trouble for being feminine. We had two brothers, so three boys. Saw him get in trouble for being feminine, and right then and there I'm like, okay, no feminine stuff. I gotta be masculine, I gotta do. And the whole time I'm growing up, like, okay, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? How do I show that I'm a man? And of course in this life, for a while, it's like, to be a man, it's like, oh, you gotta get a girlfriend, you gotta be able to sleep with women, you gotta be desirable. Women have to want to sleep with you. You have to be able to sleep with multiple women at a time, and things like that. That's how I was grading myself. That's all I was focused on. And a lot of men fall down that rabbit hole of trying to be desirable and trying to get into as many pants as possible, whereas women are told, oh, you need to stay a virgin as long as you can, and if you have sex with too many men, guess what, you're no longer desirable. Like, if you know math, that doesn't add up. How do you teach one gender to their validity is based on how many women they can sleep with, and then the other gender, their validity is based on how many men they don't sleep with? So literally you're pitting men and women against each other. You're pitting the genders against each other, all the while erasing a whole other gender. You're erasing a third of the population, which is wild. And you're restricting those two genders within specific roles, and if they do anything outside of those roles, then there's something wrong with them. And then you throw them in conversion camps, you make them feel bad about themselves, and you kill them. You look in the news, like there was this family. It was a man who was gay, came out as gay, and his family beheaded him. So it's no joke, you know. As I was going on in my journey, I was in this place of love and light and self-discovery. So I wasn't thinking much about the outside world. I was in my own little bubble. I'm like, oh crap, I'm bisexual or maybe pansexual. And then the non-binary came, and I was like, that blew my mind even more. And I started doing my research. And as I was doing more research, I was like, yo, this opened up a whole new world. A whole new world. Like, I was just so happy, but at the same time, terrified. Terrified of what this would mean, you know? It's like I see how beautiful it makes the world, but at the same time, with how much they hate gay people, it's a terrifying thing. And then come to 2022, we have Kanye West leading, Ye West is leading the pack with saying he loves Hitler, and he has millions of fans. He's giving prominent light to the Black Hebrew Israelites, which very much like the colonizers that colonized them, hate women, hate gay people, hate trans people. You know, they don't like disabled people. Like it's a very ableist society. You know, he's partnered with Nick Fuentes, you know, with white supremacists. You had Trump that also, like, so hate speech. You had Elon Musk. Like, right now, the world is very, very scary. And one thing I want to say, like, if you're trying to find activists and people that speak on things that really want to see change in the world, I say focus on people that speak about all the topics and that defend all groups, and that especially that defend all minorities. Talking about people that they need to be defending women, they need to be defending Black people, they need to be defending gay people, they need to be defending disabled people, you know, trans people. If they're not defending the most marginalized groups, then they're not a true activist, and there are a lot of fake activists out there. So that makes it very easy to find the ones that fight for all. And guess what? It's a very few. There's not a lot of people that fight for all. So I'm actually grateful, you know, that God made me this way. Because if I wasn't made this way, I don't think I would have fought. You know, that's kind of like, you know, I feel bad for saying this, and I can never know. I can never know because this is the way that I was born. But if I was a straight cisgendered male, I don't know if I would care so much. Because when I believed that I was not fighting for gay people. I was not fighting for trans people, you know. But I'm in the community now. Like, this is what I am, and this is what I see every day. I'm always looking up non-binary. I'm looking up trans. What's going on in the world with these topics? And for a while, it was a lot of good things. But I think because so many good things were happening, the right, the alt-right, the far-right, they were like, oh, the world's starting to accept gay people? The world's starting to accept trans people? What? Oh, trans people are making it into the government? Oh, trans people are winning awards? Oh, trans people are getting their bathrooms? Like, what? There's like, cannot have that. At that point, they've decided that Satan had taken over the world, and their push got even worse. And now that led to the Colorado shooting where 5 people died, 25 people were injured. And you should have seen the comments. The comments were just like nasty. People did not care. They were saying things like, oh, 5 more good leftists, which means a good leftist, or the only way that a leftist can be good, they have to be dead. So now we have death threats. You know, I'm in Boston's Children's Hospital. Thanks to the libs of TikTok, they've been dealing with bomb threats and death threats. You know, that's very close to home. And not only does that affect children, you know, they're attacking gay people, they're attacking the LGBTQ community, not realizing that if you attack any community, you attack everyone. Because anybody can be gay, anybody can be trans, you know? But the thing is, that's something that you don't hear a lot about either. Black people do tend to be more gay and trans than any other group. Like, that's a fact. And a lot of times this is something that's said around, like they say Black people are really homophobic, but we're not any more homophobic than anybody else. But I feel like we're portrayed that way. Black people are portrayed to be really homophobic, and sometimes we give the platform to celebrities to be homophobic, and they get known for that. And black people are also portrayed to be more violent when that's not the case. Black people are portrayed to commit more crime when that's really not the case. So as you can see, there's a lot of portraying going on, and it's not the actual truth. So we need the actual truth to be put out there. The truth will put people at ease. The truth can bring people together, and truly, like as consciously says, education is elevation. And so, yeah, I'll mention some people I feel like do speak on all those topics, and I may have to do a little bit more work. But there's consciously, there's FD signifier, there's a lectural. Forgetting her name. Um, Lectural something, but she's pretty good too. She's a sex worker, black sex worker, but she does these videos on our history. Very great, very educational. Recently, she was doing a video on like the black deaf community, and she mentioned how Prince did a concert for them, and like even though they couldn't hear the music, they could feel the vibration. I always wonder, can deaf people like go to concerts? Can they hear? How do they deal with music? And Prince is an amazing person too. Um, but yeah, I'll have to find some more. If you're interested in knowing more art, more just activists that speak on all those topics, Hassan Anabi is also a great like political commentator that is also aware. He speaks about his like transphobic, homophobic past and how he overcame that. So there are people that do. So if the person is not, talking, not defending all the marginalized communities, then why even bother? And if they can do it from that standpoint, then you know for a fact that they're fighting for everyone, because those are the communities that are left out. Now this video is getting a little bit longer than I anticipated, so I want to mention like the thing. So something that is taught about like gay people, trans people, they think that to be this way, you have to be abused in some way. It doesn't make sense. Causation does not mean correlation. There are plenty of people that have been abused in many ways that are still straight and cis, and then it doesn't make sense to think that all gay people are that way because they've been abused. That's something that's been pushed, and it's not the truth at all whatsoever. Like, I know for a fact that I've been this way, and it makes sense to me because it literally adds up. It wasn't until I discovered this part of myself that I was really, wanting to live fully. It's like almost when I didn't have my full identity, I didn't really want to live, you know? I wasn't really focused on the long term because I was missing a part of myself. Um, and I feel like it's also hard to be desired unless you desire yourself fully. And if you're hiding a part of yourself that you don't know anything about, how can you desire you? Or if you're ashamed of a part of yourself, because even though I wasn't aware of trans, I wasn't aware of all these things, like I feel like on a soul level, I knew what I was hiding. I knew what I had pushed down, and it wasn't until, and I had a beautiful visual of this, it wasn't until like my higher self went deeper to my psyche and pulled out the things that I had, hidden and pushed into a corner. It wasn't until then that I felt like full. It wasn't until then that I felt embodied. I felt balanced. But then comes the outside world when you're just like, holy crap. It's a very homophobic world. It's a very transphobic world out here, and there's a lot of projections. And what's sad too to realize is that like a lot of people pushing this homophobia and transphobia, research has shown that they're most likely gay or they might be trans. They have not accepted that part of themselves, and that has turned to violence, that has turned to anger, that has turned to hatred. And then those same people tend to be the ones that pursue people like me. I go up there being myself, shining my light, and I look so magical to them. And I want to do that as a way to show them, like, yo, if you can see the magic in me, then you got magic in you too. So go find that magic. But if they think that magic is wrong, if they're comparing it to pedophilia, if they're comparing it to bestiality, they won't go near it, it continues being something that's like far out of reach for them, that they feel is impossible. So like they feel like they need to get it from others, they need to capture it from others. The whole divide between masculine and feminine is like women, have been the witches, they've been the magic ones, and men are not told to express their emotions, to connect with their emotions, and like there literally is no magic without emotion. So if they're not connected to that part of themselves, and they in fact become less magical, and they just have to consume, and they have to get it from others. We don't have the emotion, you don't have the imagination, you're not connecting to the land, to earth, to Mama Gaia, you're not being embodied, then you feel compelled to take it from others. But I want to encourage all beings to connect with that magic. I think Mother Gaia is here for all of us to connect with, to love, you know. So that's the main point of this video, is just like that belief of that you have to be abused to be this way. We need to dead that. We need to dead that. We need to spread that message. We have to truly learn. And I wish that like the history of non-gender conforming people hadn't been messed with and hadn't been destroyed in the way that it was, because it's like, what do I have? What's my blueprint? But I know, like, even if all that's destroyed, the memory of it is within us. It's within our blood. We're mostly water, and water remembers. So even if they can destroy history, they can kill us as much as they want to. But our truth is here. Our truth cannot be burned away. It cannot be blown up. It cannot be sunk. We are the truth. We are the living truth. A lot of people in this world, they have the Bible to really, to keep them going. But that's a book that's been used to control a lot of people, and it's been used to enslave people that look like me. So a lot of us don't feel comfortable with the Bible. So if you don't feel comfortable with the Bible, if you don't feel comfortable with religion, where do you go? So that's why I want to encourage you. Like, if you feel comfortable, you can go ahead, go to church. Like, it doesn't hurt. God is everywhere, But if you don't feel comfortable, there are other things like numerology and astrology, things that you can tap into. You can talk to animals. You can talk to trees. Literally, like, just ask. Just talk to the interactive universe around you. You'll be amazed at what you find. Don't just take my word for it. Literally, go out there. That's what I did. I went out there and I asked questions. I talked to the air. I talked to the water. Meditation, yoga, like, meditation is very powerful. And finding ways to bring your body back to center, because as you discover yourself, your true self, and you start to express that, as that information comes back and you become embodied, you're gonna need ways to like get it out. And movement is really good. Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, like ways to move to allow the energy to flow. All of that is really important and really good. So, but yeah, find your path. The fact that we've all been controlled and being told to do this, to do that, when all of us have our own connection to the divine, I say the only reason why we've been told how to do things and to do this or that is because there were those above us, which no one's really above you, that wanted to hold us down, wanted to keep us, they wanted to stay in power. And I feel like a true leader doesn't do that. A true leader wants to empower other people to lead themselves, So that's my video for the day, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please share this message, share that truth with the world. Like, it does not have to be, it's not abuse that leads to anybody being gay, bisexual, trans, or anything like that. It's not abuse. We have been around for as long as humans have existed, okay? And we will always be here. And please do your best. If you want to be a true ally, do not allow them to erase us. Do not allow them to erase us. Alright? So if you like this video, don't forget to like and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.